Here are our vocabulary words for chapter 37 of Alpha to Omega. First one is adikeo, adikezo, adikeza, adikeka, adikemai, adikethane. So those principal parts are regular with our epsilon contract. It means to be unjust or do wrong or injure. Notice there was the section on your note-taking sheet, your summary or introduction for chapter 37, that shows the cognate accusative that we'll look at a little bit later in the vocabulary. But to know what that cognate means, it means that the object is really the very same word as the verb itself, and is just to say then I've done a wrong or something like that. So adikeo, again, is this verb, to be unjust or do wrong or injure. Next one is diaphthyro, diaphthero, diaphthyra, diaphtharka, or diaphthora, a first and a second perfect there, diaphtharmai, and diaphtharane. So here, that's a second aorist passive there in the sixth principal part. So a couple things to note here. I guess one, just the meaning, corrupt or ruin. We have the two types of perfect, the first and second perfect forms. There is no difference in meaning for those, just two alternate forms. You see the future contract taking place there in diaphtero. And then also you'll notice in the perfect and the perfect active and perfect middle passive, how instead of reduplicating, it's just an augment, as would be expected with a constant cluster at the start of the stem, like th, th. But then with our aorists, third and sixth principal part, notice that the augment replaces the alpha as well on that prefix. So once more, diaphthyro means to corrupt or ruin. Nikao, nikezo, enikeza, nenikeka, nenikemai, enikethane. To conquer or win, we've learned the noun nike already. This is really from the same root, to conquer or win. Adikia, ashe, first declension, an injustice, a wrong, injury even. Dk, hey, first declension, justice, right, or penalty, punishment, lawsuit, those sorts of things. Then we have this idiom that you do need to know, dk lambanein paratinus, to punish someone, to receive justice against someone, that kind of thing, so to punish someone. Physis eos, there, that's like our polis noun there with our eos ending. So third declension there. Nature is what that one means. Two ending adjective, adicus un. A lot of those alpha privative adjectives, they have just two endings. So masculine and feminine there in the first ending, adicus. And that means unjust or wrong. Athenias, three ending adjective. Notice the circumflex there when there's a short form. It means Athenian. Dikaias un, that means just or right, three ending adjective. Isus un, another three ending adjective. Equal or fair or impartial. So if you're using the translation equal to something, that something is in the dative. You'll have to know that too. Here we have our adverb based off that stem isos. So fairly would be a fairly simple adverb that comes from that adjective. But it can also mean perhaps or probably. So you'll have to learn those there too. That's the if word for a conditional protasis, the first part of our conditional statements. I may is with the negative, if something is not. So I may is what's used there. Here's on again. We saw on in the potential optatives, but here are the other uses in the conditional statements. In the protasis, or the first half, in the present general, or the future more vivid. And then it's in the apodosis, the second half of the contrary to facts, and the future less vivid. Okay, so on is not translatable, but is a sign of those conditional statements. And then eon, which can be elided as ain or on. What you need to know is that's just a contraction of ion, but you probably also should remember the times when it shows up. It shows up in the present general with the subjunctive, and in the future more vivid with the subjunctive in the protasis for both of those. And those are vocabulary words for chapter 37.